Hi guys, I just realized I could have been doing yarn and npm installs and caching in a much better way, and maybe I've been getting lucky with it until now, but now I see how that was not good. So here's the TLDR. If you have Cypress in a node project, use Cypress GitHub action. But if you don't have Cypress, use bahmutov installs. So I used to be using bahmutov installs, so I'll just take a look. We have about 30 seconds for unit test, lint, and type check. This is because there's no Cypress in those guys. And then bahmutov installs caching is working pretty well. The end-to-end and Cypress still using bahmutov installs, but Cypress cache isn't being hit correctly. And let's just take a look real quick. Bahmutov installs, 24 seconds, cache is hit nicely. And the same exact setup. Just lost it. Same exact setup. Go to summary. We don't have to go to summary, just go to E2E. And then let's take a look at the npm install, right? The cache isn't being hit, and that's why it's taking about 2.5 minutes. Back and forth is getting confusing. So let's just go to summary and take this high level view. Okay, here we go. So it wasn't working correctly, apparently, or maybe it used to work, but it's not anymore. Anyway, today that's not the best way. So I talked to Gleb, and then he advised if it's a non-Cypress project, you can use bahmutov installs. But if you got Cypress in the mix, if you want it to be cached correctly, just use the Cypress action, right? And here's the result with that. So you can see it here, but let's just take the same summary view. That makes it easier to compare. All right, so side by side, side by side, this thing, right? Side by side, you have the unit lint type check the same, but see the significant reduction in the end-to-end and Cypress test, right? So that is something. Now let's just take a look at the PR to see what makes that possible. And I left the before and after in there, just so there's a reference. My face up. So basically, if you use the Cypress GitHub action, we're able to get rid of this setup node. That's number one, which is great. So in every other example, what was done is basically comment out what was there before. So comment out bahmutov installs, and then instead use Cypress GitHub action with run test false. So it will only install and take care of the other stuff. We did that for unit job, type check job. Now for those, it doesn't really matter. You could have used bahmutov installs since there's no Cypress involved there, but it's good for consistency to use the same job, so you don't have to worry about multiple reusable actions. So here we install dependencies. That's there. So the key part is when coming down to the end-to-end test and component test, right? We used to be installing with bahmutov installs. We're failing to get the right cache, and we're having to install from scratch. And now, although we were trying to take care of things with using the container, it wasn't working that great. And in the other step, we were saying install false because you probably installed it back there. None of that was working that great. So now, instead, we don't need the container. We don't need the install. You remove the install job. And the Cypress GitHub action is handling cache. Like it installed it before in the install step. And now, since this one is relying on the install dependency step, it just works quite well out of the box. Again, right? So here's the before and after. What install once, and then roll the cache over to all the Cypress stuff. And these could be parallel jobs, so it wouldn't make any difference. Of course, the damage is higher on the left side if these are parallel jobs. So that means everything, single thing is installing yarn install. All those parallel jobs are installing, and it's just costing CI minutes. Noise for that. So I'm just going to leave that PR as is. But if you want the clean version without the commented out stuff, uh, you can take a look at the Turo Firos repository in a little bit. So I'll basically use the same YAML, but then trim out all the comments. No reason to repeat the learning stuff here, but that is the way to go. All right, later.